What inspired you, Tanya, to start this beauty hair salon type thing? What made you do that?
When I came to Atlanta, I was working in a salon on Peachtree when I first moved there. And I still have my salon back here, but some circumstances that had happened to me personally, like put me in a situation where I just kind of needed to move myself to a whole different environment.
Anything can be made for our culture. I mean,
Okay.
you may not use the entire line. There may
Hmm.
just be pieces of the line that you choose to use.
Hmm.
But I mean, at the end of the day, it's all in how you sell it and how you market it.
So, what advice would you guys give aspiring beauty entrepreneurs? I know I heard Don. You said that you wish you had a mentor when you started.
Really,
So,
building up your clientele, you don't have to know how to do hair to
okay.
have a large clientele. You literally can be bad and have a large clientele. People want to be treated well.
All right, so welcome to another episode of Elite Psyche, the Mental Toughness Show. My name is Tony Fleming. We always putting out different interviews from different people. Our goal is to get some people who have had some success in life. At least I feel like they have, and had also some challenges. That's where the mental toughness part comes from. But we want everybody to get this elite psyche. Now, when you listen to the interview, you're going to pick up things from people who had success. That's just what happens. They drop nuggets all the time. Why you not even, they don't even know they're dropping the nuggets. So make sure you listen in on it. Now, today, I want to, before we get started, the company who sponsored our show today is a company called New Spira, based out of Atlanta, Georgia. It's a detox drink. It's a latte mushroom coffee. It's a black mushroom coffee also. And the company is actually kicking off August 1st. So that's about 7 or 8 days from now. And it's called New Spira. So they actually sponsored the show today. So thank you for that. Every sip counts, as it says there. All right, so I want to introduce our two guests today. Um, One is Miss Dawn Garrett, and also Miss Tanya Times Bellamy. Is that Times or
Time us.
Timus? Tanya
Yes.
Timus. Tanya
It's
Timus
time for
Bellamy.
us. Yes,
Okay.
yes.
All right. So I'm gonna tell you something, Don. I met Miss Tanya at the podcast summit, and I don't know if y'all heard of Earl Nightingale, right?
Yes.
Okay, Earl Nightingale back in the day, he probably was the guy who really promoted and started motivational speaking. So Bob Proctor learned from Earl Nightingale. But Earl Nightingale used to have this tape that I listened to back in the day. It's called "The Man on the White Horse," and what it was is that he talked about you could tell somebody when they walk in the room how they walk, the aura that they have. Somebody they like that's somebody I don't know who it is, and that was Tanya. She was the lady on the white horse at the podcast summit. So I had to go up to her and ask her, what she was doing. Could we interview you on the Elite Psyche show? And she gladly said yes. I think she said yes. We talked for a minute. Did you say yes?
Of course, I said
Oh
yes.
yeah, okay. All right. And so this how it all started, and I'm glad to have you guys on today. We're gonna have a great conversation, I know. Uh, but let's just kick it off with Don giving us a little insight on yourself, and then Tanya.
Okay.
Sure. My name is Dawn Garrett. I am an entrepreneur and a realtor. I've been an entrepreneur for 25 years, and I've been in real estate for 20. Most of that is in sales, but also entering into development. In terms of my entrepreneurial journey, I've owned several salons, and I am currently in the e commerce space as well.
Okay. What about you, Tanya?
All right. So I am Tanya Thomas Bellamy, as you said. And for me, I have been an entrepreneur for 36 years. I
Hmm.
started at the tender age of 21. I think I just knew I had that entrepreneurial spirit very early on. I started with my first hair salon at that age, 21. And then now I'm currently on salon number 10, but I also have a product line, Iconic Hair for TRHI, as well as an e commerce business. So
Okay,
most of my
great.
things have been in beauty in several different states. So I've had 10 salons in 4 states.
Okay. So
Yes.
I'm not gonna ask Dawn about all that because I heard she said, "Oh, now you're getting into my age." But I think Dawn started. I think Dawn started in the hair business at 6. So now she's like 26, and
You're
so
funny.
she's been doing. She's been doing it about 20 years. But let me ask you guys, and you all can answer this, separately because I know that you all have done things that was not. I don't know when did you all meet, like, start being a partner in a business, like when was that?
So we met. I moved back to the DMV area 4 years ago. I had I guess I don't want to use the word balls, but to start a business
Yeah.
in 2020.
No.
And that's when I met Dawn. We are in the same space. So she's been a great confidant over these past 4 years. She's had several salons in the DMV area, with me just coming back after being gone for 27 years. Each state or each area has kind of a different DNA in the way they operate and the way they move. Like I started out there, but like I said, I spent most of my career in Atlanta. So coming back is just always a great idea to have somebody right there with you who has been doing it for a period of time.
Okay.
So
So,
4 years ago is the answer.
well, okay, all right, all right. So you were in Atlanta most of the time, and then
Yes.
Don was there. So what inspired you guys? I know it's two different inspirations here, but what inspired you, Tanya, to start this beauty hair salon type thing? What made you do that?
Well, I think the first time I started, like I said, at 21, I think I was just frustrated with what I was seeing out there, even at that young age. I knew I had something to offer the industry, and I wanted to step out there and I guess give my offering. The salon that I had here many years ago was pretty successful in terms of what I would call success at that age. We had a lot of notoriety, we won a lot of hair shows. I don't know I paid as much attention to the numbers at that point, but I think, the 21-year-old mom really wanted just to be seen and heard, and we did a good job of that at that age in that
Okay.
salon.
What about
Yeah.
you, Don?
In terms of entering the hair business, I really fell into the hair industry. Um, my last few salons were as a result of I hit rock bottom a few times, and the last one I went through a divorce, pretty much had to start over. And I remember I was at my mom's house. I was living with my mother, sleeping on her couch, and I just said, you know what, I'm going to try it one more time. And that ended up being a 7-figure salon. So I
Okay.
literally started with zero. I don't even know how I got approved for the lease. They ask you for your numbers. They say, send over a P&L. I was like,
Right.
okay. So I sent over one, and it was really based off of just the money that I was generating from doing hair. It
Mhm.
wasn't anything significant. So, but that was God that got me through that door. And I worked really hard, and I was proud to turn that into my first 7-figure business.
Yeah, I forgot to mention in the beginning that you guys have made millions of dollars in this industry. Uh, because I hate I missed that part, but yeah, you all are documented, seriously documented when it comes to the hair business. So, uh, Tanya, I'm ask this: what is talent? Because I heard in the other interview you said some people come in and they have talent, but they don't have a system. So, what do
Right.
you consider talent when they come in? What, they look good? They draw people in. What is talent?
So talent in this industry would really be about the work that you put out, doing good haircuts, good color, whatever your niche is in the industry, really being good at that. I find over the years that a lot of people are talented in our industry, but never really take the time to learn the business side. And that's where Dawn and I come in and try to really motivate and tutor and really coach stylists to become six-figure stylists and hopefully seven-figure salon owners at one point in their career, or throughout the rest of their career.
Okay. So, Don, and this is for both of y'all, but we're gonna start with Don. What had you turn that vision that you have into reality? Because I know when you started, you had a vision and you went through some things, but what was the thing that really made it come to reality for you?
Well, at the end of the day, in life, it's either sink or swim. You
Yeah.
have to pretty much either let circumstances control you or you control the circumstances. So, there are a lot of things that are out of our control. We can't control people, sometimes certain aspects of our health. And, but the things that you can control, you need to absolutely control them. So I make it
Mhm.
a point to make sure that everything I do it with excellence. In terms of business, I am super focused on, operations and numbers. I'm the numbers girl. I'm
Mhm.
always going to focus on the numbers and making sure that they work and making sure that there are systems in place for everything. So the main thing was that I knew I did not have an option. It's
Mhm.
either I figure it out or I become a statistic, another divorcee with children that's, collecting unemployment or
Right,
something.
right, right, right,
I
right.
didn't really have an option.
What about you, Tanya? How did you bring that vision into reality?
I think for me, it's a similar situation, but I think my vision started a little younger. I went through some situations here in DC is what prompted me to move to Atlanta. So it was the same situation. It was a sink or swim situation. I was going into a whole different state, not knowing anyone, honestly. And as Dawn talked about, that turned out to be four of my seven-figure salons there in Atlanta. So started from scratch, but I did the work. I really did. I went through SBA, which was some of the options at that time. Really took the time to understand the business side of what we were doing. I always was making money doing what I
Hmm.
did, but as fast at a young age, it was coming in and going out as fast. I mean, literally every Saturday, I left the salon and went shopping all the way through Monday till it was time to come back to the salon on Tuesday. So, I mean, when you're young, you're not thinking about how important it is to put, these things in place because for what we do, it is no 401k waiting for you. So you have to always have a plan when you're doing what we do.
So I'm assuming that for you guys, a job was not an option.
Not an option over here. There's no way.
I mean, I truly believe some people are
Hmm.
unemployable. For me to start my first business at 21, I just honestly, even at that age, felt like I could do it way better than the people where I was working at that
Right.
particular time. Um, so I just had ideas, and I was prayed up and armed with so many things that my mom had taught me over the years, principles, and really just really that mental toughness that you speak of.
Hmm.
Just making
Hmm.
sure that I am doing all the things to um to make my business a success and make myself a success, really, because it has to be within you before you can even turn it into a
Right.
business, honestly. Yeah.
Yes.
So is Bronner Brothers still a thing? That used to be the thing. I'm saying,
It
is this?
was. It really was.
Yeah.
And they
It
actually just
faded.
came back a couple years ago. I think they just like kind of reignited. Most of the original founders of Bronner Brothers are now gone on to their glory. So
Hmm.
they're shifting it a little bit. I have not been to the last three shows. I think maybe a year ago was the first time they had it since COVID. but it looks like it's well attended as well. I mean, still
Mm-hmm.
pretty well attended.
What about you, Don? It never was a thing for you?
In terms of Bronner Brothers, no,
Yeah.
that's never been my thing. So I
Okay.
don't think I've ever gone to a Bronner Brothers show. Um,
What?
no, I don't. Of course, most of my salons have won a lot of awards and shows and things like that. Like I said, I focus on running the business,
Okay.
and that would be secondary for me. So I
Okay.
would send my staff.
Okay. So, are there any other shows like Bronner across the country that people go to for? I know you don't, Don, but I'm just
I wouldn't know.
Right.
okay.
There are lots of other shows, but none that have that legacy that Bronner put out there for our people. There used to be another show similar to them called Proud Lady, because back in the day, there was this black lady with this hair that all black owned products had the Proud Lady on it. So back in the
Mm-hmm.
day, you could tell that this was black owned by that Proud Lady
Proud lady.
stamp. And that one was out of Chicago. But I think what Bronner brothers, the three, were able to create has been amazing, and a legacy that's still continuing on. I can say that I've probably been going to Bronner off and on for, if I've been, oh shoot, probably 30 years.
Okay.
I think probably almost since the conception. I've gone as a model before I was doing hair, and then, especially being there in Atlanta, I've probably done platform for the Bronner Brothers show at least like a dozen times. So
Did you
it was
personally?
amazing, the thing that they put together.
Did you personally meet Old Man Bronner?
Of course, yes, yes, I
Okay.
have. Yeah.
Yeah, he was good friends with my uncle who's passed along. My uncle used to make the. You remember the most favorite grease they had? He used to make it. God, it's in the white bottle with the orange. Well, it was Bronner Brother brand because my uncle had a warehouse over off 20, and I used to go work with him. He would, make the grease,
Mm-hmm.
put it in a jar. We would put the Bronner Brothers stickers on it, everything, and
Mm-hmm.
then I think Nate, one of them would come back the truck up and pick it up, and then they would go put it in all the stores. And
Yes.
my uncle had a spiritual handshake. My uncle was like one. He was one of those cussing preachers, you know what I'm saying? But
Yes.
so so he had to
And
deal with him, and I mean that went well for him for a long time
I'm
until
sure it did. Yeah.
yeah,
But that's
got
what I'm
too.
saying. What they were able to create, like, started, especially in Atlanta. I think about some of the
Hmm.
companies that come through their design essentials. Um, like, really, a lot of them started with that Bronner brothers. You know what I mean? Because they gave
Hmm.
you the formula. Not only did they
Hmm.
create the show, they started creating brands. So I mean, they were creating brands way back in the '80s.
Hmm.
So it really did foster in
Yeah.
a lot of entrepreneurs, especially a lot of brand owners, um,
Hmm.
really across the country, not just Atlanta, but you could get to see it firsthand if you were there.
Yeah, it's funny that building is still right there on the corner of
Yes.
the
Hmm.
Brunner shop right there. So you guys got to tell me one at a time a mental toughness thing that you went through that you hadn't told anybody about. Where where I only had $2 left, and I was sitting on the corner, and this guy came by and he said, "You look like a business person. I'm gonna get you a business." Give me one of those where people, don't believe that you have to go through things to get to where you are.
Am I starting or you starting, Dawn?
Yo, either way,
I,
either
I,
way.
I think for me, I've had several of those situations, but
Hmm.
the one that comes to mind the most is what I just mentioned. When I came to Atlanta, I was working in a salon on Peachtree when I first moved there. And I still have my salon back here, but some circumstances that had happened to me personally, like, put me in a situation where I just kind of needed to move myself to a whole different environment. So when I got there, it was getting to know people. So I had to go back into a salon, which I had not done in the past 7 years, because that's how long I had my salon here in DC. But I was doing the work at that time. Like I said, I went through SBA because I knew that like, once again, like I said, I had something to offer. Um, I didn't go there broke because I had a very successful career, but starting over can be extremely tough and make you kind of question what your next steps are.
Hmm.
So a couple of things I can remember, I had a spiritual advisor there, Daryl Winston, who still has a church there in Atlanta, Greater Work. So if you see this, Daryl, I'm giving you a shout out. He helped me a lot when I first moved there with some affirmations and just kind of putting my thoughts all in order and seeing the next steps. Sometimes things happen to you and you don't know why. And I really feel like the situation that happened to me here in DC was to get me to that space in Atlanta. So like I said, I did the work. I shopped my idea. When I first opened Say a Salon and Spa there, I was one of three black owned spas in the entire country. So I went to several banks and of course I got a lot of no's. And then
Hmm.
I went to a friend, the Kimbe Matumbo. Shout you out to Deke if you listening. So he invested in my first business there in Atlanta, right there on Peachtree. We went on to do three other locations together and we had major success. And then I was able to kind of step out on my own and do the next few locations on my own.
Okay.
So with that being said, it was kind of like starting over. I did have a little money, but honestly, as entrepreneurs, we never want to spend our own money
Right, right,
to
right,
start
right.
businesses. We looking for it somewhere. But yeah,
Well, shout out to the Kimbe.
yes.
All right, so Don, give us the story.
So I'll say it was probably as I was going through my divorce,
Hmm.
and I remember pulling up to a stoplight, and I remember not having any money. So I was dead broke, like I had nothing. And I saw somebody on the corner, like begging, you know how they have the signs out.
Hmm.
And then and I started thinking, maybe I should just get a sign. Then I was like, no, people know who I am. They're going to see me and know
Right,
me.
right,
I
right.
can't do that. But the reason why I use that example is because mentally, I was so weak at that moment to think
Hmm.
that that was the answer.
Hmm.
And I had to really, it made me pull over and I had to really think about that's not you. That's not who you are. That's not how you're built. You're
Hmm.
better than that, no matter, what they're doing. And you can do better. Um, I chose not to ever seek any social assistance or anything like that because I feel like it cripples you to a certain degree.
Hmm.
Um, that you really have to figure out how to pull yourself out of things mentally and physically. So that's when I started coming up with a plan. So even when I opened up the salon, I already had a plan. I started the plan when I was dead broke. So,
Okay. Okay.
so I would say that's probably I've never told anyone that I've actually considered.
Holding that sign.
Yeah.
I was like, how much do they make an
Hey,
hour?
that's some work too now.
I go, is that how much they make? They probably make $200 an hour or
Probably
whatever.
do.
Hey,
But yeah, it was a weak moment for me, very weak mentally.
Hmm.
Tanya, the other day, I was over behind Phipps, right there, that traffic light behind Phipps. It was literally a guy out there, Caucasian guy, with a sign and a cell phone, and he was asking everybody for $10. I mean, boldly,
Wow.
you know, $10. You got $10. I mean, I'm like, wow, this dude don't
Yeah.
mind.
Right.
Yeah, I'm sure some people gave him $10
I'm
too. I
sure
guess
they did.
if you ask enough, you'll
Someone,
get those $10.
mhm.
But that's not, it's not normal in that area, but it is now. Seems like, I guess, the economy and what's going on out here
Yeah.
now. So speaking of that kind of economy, what did y'all do during the pandemic? What kind of pivot did you make during that time? Because I know, you know, when you had a building, everybody had to shut down, right? And you had to, oh yeah, did y'all get the?
Well, for me, I was not even living here in the DMV at the time during the
Mhm.
pandemic. I was back in Illinois when I started the process of starting this business. And I was once again faced with a situation where I had to uproot myself and shift my life. Um, had some very tumultuous situations with my marriage. So moving to back home was an opportunity for me to start all over again because I had
Mm-hmm.
become a stay-at-home mom. I think after even all of this success, I began to travel with my husband and his job. So it was kind of hard to set up shop in all of these different areas. So
Mm-hmm.
I was a stay-at-home mom for 5 years and just ups and downs financially. And I mean, I was married for 22 years, so you know it has its challenges and its ups and downs when you're
Right.
married that long.
Right.
But I knew what I had in me. I knew what God had placed in me, and I honestly became a stay-at-home mom just because the travel. You know what I mean? I don't want to
Mm-hmm.
separate my small kids from their dad, but it was time for me to step back into my truth and do what I had been called to do because
Mm-hmm.
that really wasn't my calling. I was so bored out of my mind. I say this all the time. Being a stay-at-home mom, so many people, can sorry about that. So many people are that's what they aspire to be and
Mm-hmm.
beautiful. That's good for them. But for somebody who had been working since they were 19 and helped put like my sister through school, helped my parents with their home, I had become, I guess, the person in my family to help
Right.
everyone
Right.
out.
Right.
And then I found myself sitting
Right.
back and, not walking in the truth or
Mm-hmm.
in the talents that God had blessed me with. So that's what brought me back to the DMV to start my business all over again. So I did start in 2020, as I mentioned earlier. So I was not in business and had to shut down, but my business got pushed back. So I was ready to kind of move on with this next chapter of my life and this new chapter of my life. And it was put on hold during the pandemic. So that did give you a little more time to think about and really kind of perfect what I had going on before I opened my doors. But that
Mm-hmm.
did kind of put it at a halt for about 4 months. Obviously, we were all at a halt for 4 months. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay. What about you, Don?
Well, during the pandemic and being in real estate, I was able to still work. We
Okay.
were considered essential,
Okay.
so I actually made more money than I
Wow.
did out. Well, not since 2004. That's when I made the most, like
Okay.
20
Yeah.
Okay.
years. But I made a lot of money during the pandemic doing basically selling and listing houses. And I did a lot of day trading, swing trading, options trading. So I was in the stock market every day
Okay.
and I made a lot of money doing that. So
Okay. So your doors were not open at the time, and you had to close them, or you wasn't like? Did you have to close the
so
hassle?
at that time I did not have a salon. I was
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, I was working in a salon and no, we just stopped working.
Okay.
And and my initial thought was, oh, I need to find something to do. I immediately went to the stock market because at that time I was already doing long term trading. So
Mm-hmm.
I just said, well, let me just pivot a little bit and I learned options. I learned it on YouTube.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I learned
YouTube.
how
That's
to
good.
trade. Yeah, I learned how to
Mm-hmm.
trade options. I did some, like I said, some swing trading, and
Mm-hmm.
I did really well with that. Then, of course, real estate just picked up really quickly.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
Okay. So, how do you guys stay competitive out here and stay in? I'm sure you are maybe two steps above everybody. How do you do that? Because I'm sure since the time you all started, it's more salons out here now, right?
Oh, it certainly
Like they
is.
should be popping up everywhere, right? Everybody's getting a salon, right?
Well, I don't know
Not
if I would say
really.
salons, not necessarily because so many people are in these suites now.
Okay.
Mhm.
So
So
there
what
are
is
not.
what is a salon and spa? What's the difference in a spa or a salon or just a hair
So when I
place?
had the salon and spa, we did hair and we also did facials, massages. We did all kind of body treatments as well. So my salons in Atlanta were salons and spa. We did nails, hair, makeup, facials, massages. So anything related to beauty from your head to your toe. But I even pivoted out of that probably back in what 2010. because a lot of niche places start popping up. Your massage envies, your
Yeah.
European wax. So we did waxing as well. So a lot of these people who came out with niche businesses kind of pulled a lot of the business from us that we were getting. Because a lot of times, even when I started that business, and we mostly did, probably I would say 98% of our clients were African American, and a lot of women at that time were getting spa services as a special occasion. It's my birthday. It's we're celebrating girls' night. It wasn't considered therapy for them that they did every 2 weeks, every 6 weeks, whatever the case, like we did with hair. So one of my spaces, which was 6,600 square feet in Atlanta, 3,300
Wow.
of it was dedicated to spa, and 33 was dedicated to hair. And hair probably brought in 85% of the revenue, where the spa services only brought in 15%. So it really just didn't make sense to continue on doing that business model. So I think you just have to always be open, because things have definitely changed tremendously from when I first started. I've changed tremendously from when I first started. So
Okay.
yeah, you learn so much from day to day, but also you read and you go to shows, and you just arm yourself with all the tools that you need to make your business successful and to stay ahead of the game. I look sometimes in other countries to see what they're doing, to look out for innovative, I guess, new styles or new treatments, because that's kind of where you can make a lot of money offering treatments that other people don't offer.
Quickly, I want to talk to you guys about a foundation called Viva Se Amina. This foundation is dedicated to improving the mental health of eliminating the stress and anxiety that happens when athletes transfer to meaningful career opportunities after they completed their time in sports. The foundation believes in empowering these athletes to drive beyond the field, court, or arena. Because that transition can be overwhelming sometimes as they navigate the shift from, having a spotlight as an athlete to uncertainties of post-retirement life. So your support is very instrumental. Check us out. Every donation is directly impacts these individuals. So go to this link and check it out. Thank you. You had 6,600 square feet on Peachtree?
I was actually on Roswell Road with that space.
Okay.
So it is kind of right there above 285 on Roswell Road. I'm not sure what it is now, but it was 2 levels. It used to be a real estate office, and then we opened it up, gutted it out.
So were you outside of 285 or inside? Like
outside of 285.
Okay.
It's
So
crazy. I can't think of anything over there right now because everything has changed.
Was it on the right or left? It was on the right or left?
If you're going up Roswell, it was on the left.
Okay.
So if you leave Ruth Chris.
Well, did it get before Hammond? Hammond was
Yes.
on the corner where the Whole Foods is. Is it?
Okay, so I was about 3 blocks up from Whole Foods.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Mhm.
Wow. How long
Yeah.
were you there?
I was in that location for 8 years.
Okay. What was the name of it?
In Saya Salon and Spa.
Asaya?
N is N-S-E-Y-A. The N is silent, but most clients still kept saying Insaya, but it's actually Saya. Yeah.
Okay.
So that
Don,
was the Atlanta brand, but here in DC, my current salon is McKenna Jordan Salon Bar. We do hair, makeup, and we have a wine bar.
Oh wow.
Mm-hmm.
So Don, how did you stay competitive? I mean, how do you stay competitive? Because I know it's a lot of things.
Yeah, I really think it comes down to keeping your ear to your customers and your customer base, like knowing what their pain points are, like what's their problem, what are they complaining about. So like for instance, my last salon, when I opened it, we focused on time in the salon because the biggest thing that people were complaining about was being in the salon for 8 hours or 6 hours. So our focus was getting people in and out in an hour or 2 hours. So you have to keep your ear to what your customer base is complaining or having issues with. And then of course, just doing your market research and making sure that your target market, you are speaking directly to them. Because it really doesn't matter what everybody else wants. It only matters what your customers are looking for, what they need. So regardless of what business I'm in, whether it's real estate, e-commerce, or the beauty industry, it's all the same. You figure out who your target market is and you focus on speaking directly to what hurts them and pains them. And
Okay.
that's how I stay on top of what's next. If I want to develop a product, it's based on what I hear them complain about. If there's a
Okay.
business I want to open, it's based on what I hear them saying that they need or what they would like.
Okay.
So that's really it. It's not really about what I think, what I like, what I feel. It's what they want.
Okay. What is Avita salons? Are those franchises or something? What is that? Is it Aveda? Avita?
Aveda.
Aveda. Okay.
So Aveda is a brand, a product brand, who was actually brought to market in the 1970s by a hairstylist, I don't know how to say his last name because he's German.
Okay.
But they had a really specific brand. So before people were really doing botanical and organic, they were one of the first brands who did that. But not only that, they had a very strong business model where they only sold to salons who carried their product.
Hmm.
So they did not have diversion. You couldn't go in CVS or beauty supply anyway and ever pick up their product. You had to become a part of their, I guess, I always say cult, but a part of their
Hmm.
their community to
Okay.
actually get the product. And they helped you grow. So they offered also like some mentorship once you signed on to their brand. So they came and they educated you, they taught you how to use the brands, and they helped your business grow. Um, from product sales as well as just kind of teaching you how to use it, which translates and obviously offering services that not a lot of other people can offer because the buy-in to be in with them is a pretty high price tag, and not your everyday stylist can afford that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I heard where you guys. I think I said that y'all made the most money during that time. Doing you had the Vita salons.
Hmm.
Uh, but every time I think about a hair salon, and I think especially for our culture, I'm thinking, is the hair care products for our culture? Are they for everybody? Because at one point I was thinking they were. And by the way, the Bronner Brother product my uncle made was Super Grow. That was the name of it, Super
Oh
Grow.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
You
that
know
was
that.
that was his product. Yeah, but he's gave it to Bronner. They put the labels on. But
Um,
in those products, are they made for our culture too? I mean, how do you?
Anything can be made for our culture. I mean,
Okay.
you may not use the entire line. There may
Hmm.
just be pieces of the line that you choose to use.
Hmm.
But I mean, at the end of the day, it's all in how you sell it and how you market it. So,
Hmm.
I mean, a lot of what I notice is when most customers come into the salon, if you ask them what they use on their hair, they're not black products at
Oh
all.
wow.
They go into Target and they pick up Suave or VO5 or whatever, and
Okay.
that's what they use. Of course, that's not the best thing for their hair, but that's what they use because that's what they see. That's what's on the commercials. That's what they hear. So I think more so why maybe black women aren't always using black products is because they aren't marketed to them enough. And
Okay.
I think that's changing. It's changed a lot with Judy and Miel, a couple of other black lines. It's changing a lot.
Okay.
But Tanya, she actually developed some of the Aveda products. So are they made for our hair, Tanya?
well, I mean, I've used Aveda off and on since, here I go again, 1997. So I definitely think that they have products that support our needs.
Hmm.
They were looking to break into the black market. So I can't say I did work with them to develop the Sap Moss line, the B Curly line, because when you're dealing with those type of companies, they already have so much intel on where the market shifts are going to be. So
Mhm.
Hmm.
before this whole natural hair movement came into play, they knew it. They knew it was coming. They knew that
Hmm.
there were so many mixed race couples. So these kids would be left out there with no products to really support their texture hair. It's a different texture when you're dealing with mixed race, if that's the correct
Okay.
terminology.
Yeah, I got you.
So it was almost creating these whole different textures, and they wanted to get ahead of that. And because we had highly textured hair, they kind of wanted to meet somewhere in the middle where they could find products, and then that became the Sap Moss line, the Be Curly line. Those are
Okay.
some of the products I directly worked on. But since then, I do have my own product line, Iconic
Okay.
Hair for TRHI. So I've worked with a lot of major companies. I could probably do a little better with my marketing because I think I really focus on more of what works because I am
Hmm.
touching clients on a consistent basis. So it's important to me what is in the bottle. So to what Dawn said, there are a lot of companies like a Pantene or I don't, you see their commercials 1,000 times a day. So people will
Hmm.
use it because of name recognition. So my sales are pretty good in the salon, but I do have to do better with kind of getting the getting it out there across the entire country.
So, what advice would you guys give aspiring beauty entrepreneurs? I know I heard Don, you said that you wish you had a mentor when you started. So, do y'all have courses? Y'all have ebooks? Do y'all have, what are y'all doing that can, because I think, well, I already know this because I was talking about that for podcasting. But a lot of times when people get to you all levels, they don't want to get out the info. They don't. They ain't trying to get. They ain't trying to get the info. They're like, I done worked hard for this 20 years. I didn't grind it.
No.
So if you want to, if you giving it out or you charging whatever we need to know, are there courses, ebooks, or y'all just say,
Yes, they are coming soon. There's no gatekeeping over here. We both had
Mhm.
No
several
gatekeeping.
salons. I've had hundreds of people come through my system. But Dawn and I right now are working on becoming six-figure stylists in 6 months. So we will be rolling that out very soon. We're actually gonna like go through the process with some stylists that we're starting, young stylists starting out and
Mhm.
turn them into six-figure stylists within a 6 month program. So we will continue to chronicle that. And once that's out, we will definitely be having courses for people to take because that's very important. You people get in a salon and you can be stuck, for years if you're not doing the things that it takes to kind of get there.
Right.
And there are some easy steps to get you there. And of course, since Dawn and I've done it with several people over the years, we will definitely be
Mm.
sharing that knowledge very soon.
Yeah,
Okay.
and I will add that I do think that the mindset of most stylists once they graduate hair school, they feel like they're invincible and they have all the answers. I blame YouTube. So they
Yeah.
think they think
Instagram.
yeah,
Instagram.
Yes, all
yeah.
the
So they
things.
think that it's really simple, but they
Right.
soon learn that it takes more than just posting a pretty picture online
Hmm.
to actually get a clientele and sustain it over
Mhm.
time. So,
Hmm.
getting to six figures is one thing, maintaining it is another. And then at some point, you want to get past that initial $100,000 mark and go into, deeper into six figures.
Hmm.
But I think it's just, to me, they have to, mindset is really big.
Hmm.
They really think they know everything.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm.
I got a young lady that's 21 years old, and she wants me to interview her. And I told her I gave her some questions and some things she need to do first because she started her hair salon out of her home, and she showed me the pictures where she, these braids that she did and all that. I'm like, okay, cool. You hustling. You 21 years old, like Tanya was when she started. And but that would be a person that could really learn from you all if y'all had
Mhm.
when you all come out with the courses and all that kind of stuff.
Mhm.
Um,
Definitely.
if they want to, like you said, Don, some people just,
Yeah,
they think they got that's I mean, I think that's across the board with
it
almost
is.
everything with young people. You hear, rappers saying they won't listen to us, so they gonna do what they're gonna do.
Mhm.
You hear businessmen even saying that. So um
I think people have to
Take
face
your
some
sure they
level of
always come
adversity.
around.
Yeah.
what women what I didn't
I
hear.
said they always come around
Right.
Oh
because
yeah.
it sometimes just takes for you to lose it all or
Mhm.
to hit rock bottom for you to say, hey, I need help.
Yeah.
But, coming out the gate, they have a lot of cheerleaders out here. I mean, you got to think
Mhm.
Instagram going to hype you up
Oh
to
yeah.
think that you
Yeah.
are
Yeah.
more than what you are.
Yeah.
And, 6 figures, like I said, getting to 6 figures is basic at this point. If you own a business and if you're a independent contractor, you definitely should be able to get the 6 figures, or you should go get a job. That's just
Okay.
my opinion. And I
Right.
know that's unpopular, but that's my opinion. Like,
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. I
you
understand.
already know I always have unpopular opinions, Tanya. But I feel like 6 figures is nothing. We're like really in an era where, especially in the DMV, and I would say Atlanta as well, but some of the major cities here, if you don't make that, you are struggling. And of course, to make 6 figures as an entrepreneur, you're really only making about 60,000
Yeah.
after you pay
Taxes.
all of your
Yeah.
expenses.
Taxes. Right.
So
Yeah.
6 figures is nothing, to be
Right.
honest. So
Right. How do y'all balance? I mean, how do you balance, Don? Because you got real estate, you got the hair salon, you got other things that you do. How do you balance it, or is it or not a balance? It's just
I have help.
okay. All
I
right.
have a lot of I have probably 4 assistants.
Okay.
Oh, admin assistants. I have someone in real estate. I have someone that helps me with like my e-commerce businesses. And then I have someone overall that helps me on the side. So I have 3 now. I had 4, have 3 now. But I have help. You have to have help. And I have very, very tight systems. So I know what I'm doing today. Mondays is for marketing.
Okay.
Tuesdays I go over my numbers. I have certain things that I know I have to do on those days. And for me, you do have to make a decision. So I won't go on a date to make sure that my business is taken care of.
Right.
I mean, you have to decide sometimes. It's hard. But sometimes you just have to decide.
Yeah.
But really the systems. And I'm highly organized.
Okay. Yeah, I can tell. All right, Tanya, what about you?
I mean, the same thing. I mean, really, a lot of what you have to teach a lot of the young stylists is discipline. Because the money can come as I learned at a young age, and it can also go. And really having these systems in place, as Dawn said, making sure that you are up on your numbers, that you're taking care of product ordering, all of the things that need to be done instead of just. I mean, I can remember back in the day, stylists would literally leave a client chair, run to the beauty supply to get products. So some of the things that it takes to be successful is literally, as she said, mindset and discipline. You can't always hit the club. You can't always go on the vacation because you your business is calling and needs you. I mean, it's nice to have that side and get to a point where you can do all of those things, but in the beginning, you really have to focus and be disciplined.
And in the beauty industry, the biggest issue is customer service that a lot of people complain about. I'm
Yeah.
like, that is so basic, but the reason why a lot of times they just don't know any better. Like they haven't been taught that you don't talk to people that way.
Right.
If
Right.
someone has an appointment, it doesn't matter what's going on in your life. You show up.
Yeah.
It just is what it is. But they haven't been taught that. They've been taught that entrepreneurship equals freedom,
Right.
where that's questionable. And once you become an entrepreneur, you
Yes.
Right. Right.
you can do whatever you want to do, technically. But if you do, you are missing something. Something is falling by the wayside. So you either have to position yourself to hire enough people to do the work, or you have to sit back and do the work. It's one or the other.
Wow. Is there any kind of something you would suggest to a young person that's trying to break into this business? Like, is it a book you read that deals with salons, or is it some kind of website they need to go look at and stay? Is it anything that they can be, reading up on or watching, or that they should be?
The Icon
Surely they
Theory
will be able to
podcast.
read our ebooks.
And
Okay.
they can watch our podcast.
Yes.
We have a whole salon series where we
Okay.
interview other salon owners that have also done
Okay.
7 years, and we talk about a lot of it is customer service,
Hmm.
marketing, and because really building up your clientele, you don't have to know how to do hair to
Okay.
Yeah.
have a large clientele. You literally can be bad and have a large clientele. People want to be treated well. They want to
Mhm.
be catered
Oh,
to. They
okay.
want, and the good hair, having their hair look beautiful is a plus as well. But the customer service is bad.
Mm.
And in our industry, it's just really bad.
Do you all have y'all tried to do any training with the people? Like, or they just not?
You
Well,
train,
yeah,
China
we
trains for
train the
sale.
people who work directly with us,
Yeah,
but I mean, there's a whole plethora of people out there across the country who
Right.
need this
Yeah,
level of
right.
tutelage
I
that they're
got you.
just not receiving, or either they don't want it or they're not receiving it, one or the other. Like we said, I think people go into it seeing the money aspect, and that's what they're focused on, making people pay before they come to appointments, not
crazy.
show up for their appointments. All kind of crazy things are going on out there where people are collecting all of these funds and not really giving the client slash customer what they're actually paying for.
Mhm.
It's a mindset. I got
Yes.
you. So what would you just say this these you want to give somebody some advice? You've given out advice for the last 60 minutes, but
Yeah.
just we're gonna wrap it up. So I want to see what would y'all say to a person who wants to get into this industry. Uh, Either one of y'all want to answer that? It doesn't matter.
Um, I really believe that they should really focus on marketing. I don't think enough entrepreneurs focus on marketing enough. That's usually their weakest area that
Hmm.
they're in. And if you can't get your message out to the masses, that's the cornerstone of most ventures, is getting
Hmm.
your message to the masses. So I would say focus on marketing, understanding basic accounting.
Mhm.
Accounting 101. Know how to at least do projections, look at your numbers, know how to read a profit and loss statement. That's basic. And
Hmm.
everyone knows, oh, get an LLC, but do you know to not commingle your funds? These
Hmm.
are just basic. There should be a business 101
Right.
course in hair school
Well, that's
because
what y'all gonna create that though.
yeah, it'll
Yes.
be out soon. Trust me.
Okay.
But it's
Okay.
like that's just basic,
Right.
knowing those things and treat your customers the way you want to be treated. Because no one wants to walk into a place of business and wait an hour to be seen. No
Mhm.
one
Yeah.
wants that.
Right.
Everyone wants to be acknowledged.
Yes.
Everyone wants to see that you are doing your best to get them in and out. And while we all understand the reasons why people charge upfront fees, is because there are no shows. There are others. That's just part of the game, and
Hmm.
you have to know that that's just part of the
Yeah.
game. It is what it is. We all have made reservations and canceled at the last minute. They lose money too.
Right.
It is what
Right.
it is.
Right.
So you
Right.
just have to deal with it, and you make it up in another way. And that's just how I feel. You figure out another way to make it up. One other point I'll just say, making sure that you figure out multiple ways to have revenue other than just styling. So
Hmm.
something else, whether you have one product, a grease, a oil, a bonnet, something, have another product, but you should have more than one stream of income. So when you don't have a client show up, that you do have something else coming in, even if you just start an e-commerce store that sells something. That could be
Okay.
drop ship. You don't even have to touch it.
Okay. What about you, Tanya? Same
I mean,
thing?
yeah, I pretty much agree with everything Dawn just said. I mean, you have people in your chair sometimes for an hour. So you educate them the whole time. They're asking you, what do I do when I leave there? So that's your opportunity to sell at that moment. You need this, you need
Hmm.
this, you need that. That should happen with every visit. So you definitely need to put yourself in position to be able to do those things because we all want to, you don't want to be behind that chair for years. It can be taxing on your body, you know what I mean?
Hmm.
So if you are able to make sales in other areas, it definitely helps.
Okay. Let me follow up with you right quick, Don. When you say marketing, are you talking about strictly online? Or are you doing radio? Are you doing what is marketing?
I mean, marketing could be all of that, but a lot of that really depends on where your client base is. So it
Hmm.
depends. Like, you should definitely have an email list.
Okay.
Everyone should have a list of their clients. I
Hmm.
find that that is a huge gap with hairstylists. Like,
Hmm.
they don't even, they are, even when they move from location to location, they have no way of contacting their people or their past clients. It's because they don't even have something as basic as a CRM, a customer relationship management system. I mean, that's just basic.
Yeah.
And I think if you go on radio or TV, which I think is a bit antiquated, but it is only good, in my opinion, if you are just looking for brand recognition. So an individual going on TV or radio, I don't know that that's the best thing. You reach more people by doing online ads, Facebook, Instagram, Google ads. Google is going to bring you in more
Hmm.
business than Facebook and Instagram, but most people go straight to Instagram,
Hmm.
where you'll do better if you use the proper keywords, you set up a Google My Business page, and you promote that alone.
Hmm.
But once you get those clients in, you need to have a base. Ask for referrals. Just
Okay.
ask. Ask for referrals and send out something to your client base on a regular basis. A lot of times people don't hear from you. They
Hmm.
forget. Remind
Yeah.
them.
Yeah.
Okay.
Remind them that I'm here. Remind
Yeah.
them that I still do this. It's not just about doing hair,
I'm.
posting a picture.
Let me tell you something. 3 days ago was my first time ever. I bought this little funky T-shirt from Timu. And boy, they've been blowing me up. They have been blowing me up on emails, on text messages. Timu here, Timu there, Timu. I was like, oh my God, I can't stop this.
That's because
I
you
was
don't
like,
know about Fashion Nova, because Fashion Nova will blow
Every
you
day,
up.
every day,
really?
twice a day.
Wow.
Yes.
They will blow you up. And they are big and they
Mhm,
still do it. They don't
Yeah.
mhm.
care. They're
Right,
going to
right.
text you every day and
They're
say,
gonna
buy
be in your
something.
face. Yep.
Right,
They're
because
gonna
you're
be in
gonna
your
click
face.
that button one day. They catch you at a moment, you gonna click, you know.
Wow.
And I think a lot of people don't collect the data because of all of these payment platforms that are out there as well. So they're taking cash through Cash App, through Venmo, all of these things. So they're not really using a system that captures the client. So they don't have any information on them other than the funds, really.
Yeah, I
So
think
yeah,
that's
that is
that's
important.
really I think that's really one of the, like, being able to email your clients, even in real estate. Most of my clients come from receiving email newsletters.
Hmm.
You can do
Mhm.
something as simple as every month just say, hey, here are my tips for the month.
Hmm.
It's
Okay.
simple. It's not
Yeah.
really a lot to it. But, even if you're a newer stylist, you can still be an expert in what you know. You may not
Okay.
know everything,
Right.
but you may know lace fronts very
Hmm.
well. Be an
Right.
Hmm.
expert in that. How do I take care of my lace front? How do I
Right.
avoid my hair from falling out from the lace front? You're an
Right.
expert in that.
Hmm.
Okay.
So teach people that and share that information. But I think starting out, social media is probably the best thing. And I mean, Instagram,
Mhm.
Facebook, and Google. I think you should learn. It would be really good advice for someone to learn Facebook ads and Instagram ads. Like, learn that, and definitely Google.
Okay.
You'll get a lot of clients
Hmm.
that way. I think you reach a lot of people that way. But you do have to understand the difference between the marketing channels and what they're for, because
Hmm.
people think that reaching the masses is the answer, but it's not. It's really reaching your small
Your
target.
niche. Your
Hmm.
niche. Your
Yeah.
community.
And I preach on this all the time to younger stylists to develop a niche. Like,
Hmm.
don't try to be the stylist that do everything. Specialize in short hair,
Hmm.
specialize in weaves, specialize in blowouts. And then your marketing is focused specifically on that. you'll grow a lot bigger, you'll become
Mhm.
better, and you'll make a lot more money.
Okay. Man, this has been a great interview with you guys. Tell them about your podcast. Where is it, on YouTube, Instagram, or what?
It's on YouTube and Instagram. It's the
Mhm.
Icon Theory Podcast. And we're Icon Theory Podcast on Instagram and YouTube and Facebook.
Okay. So everybody heard that, ICON Theory.
Mhm.
And we're going to make sure we put it up there on the screen. And everybody needs to go there and like and subscribe and, jump on Instagram with them and do all of that. All right. So last question I ask everybody, guys and ladies. So you got to answer it. You ready?
No.
It's simple. Who's the GOAT, Michael Jordan or LeBron?
Michael
Which one?
Jordan, easily.
He's the GOAT. Okay. What do you say, Don?
I don't watch sports.
What?
No.
I would
But
think
I
the
mean-
guys you dating or something might be watching sports, so you watch sports with them or something like that. Nope.
No.
Okay.
So I don't know. I would say LeBron.
Okay.
Because hasn't he broken more records than Michael
Yeah,
Jordan?
he's played longer.
Okay.
He's 90
So-
years old out there playing. So yeah.
I would just say that, not really knowing enough.
Right.
I think Michael Jordan was the GOAT in his day, and
Mhm.
I don't think anything can be taken away from him.
Right.
But at this moment that you're asking the question,
Yeah.
LeBron will do that.
Okay. All
And
right.
someone will replace him.
I'm not in agreement.
You're not in agreement. Okay. Hey, that's how it is out on social media. You got LeBron or Michael Jordan. That's how it
Right.
goes. But I appreciate you guys. And this has been another episode of Elite Psyche, the Mental Toughness Show. Make sure y'all guys subscribe. Make sure y'all like. I got guys subscribing and liking, but you all got to get in the comment section
Right,
and
right.
make some comments and talk about this show today. Get in the comment section and say a few things. So that's it today. We'll be back with another episode